So I wanted to talk to you guys in the current state I'm in, which is frozen. So this is not planned out, but I just felt like I needed somebody to talk to and kind of think out my thoughts. And before I begin, I just want to come clean and share with you a pattern that I've noticed that occurs in my life. And there's not really much about this out there. Everybody gets on fire. They talk about minimalism and getting rid of stuff and that how that ultimately frees you. And it does. This stuff can hold you down. And here I am in piles of my own shit. So the thing that I've noticed that happens in my life is that I get rid of stuff and abundance flows in. And it's not about letting abundance flow out or stopping that flow that comes in, but I get caught up in it again and again and again and again. And it's this constant cycle of crap coming in, bombarding me, weighing me down, and it gets me to this point where I stop and I look back and I think, what have I done? What have I done with my life? I'm going to share a little secret with you guys. Back in Utah, if you've been watching this long, it's the most money we ever made back in Utah. And we owned so little back then. We constantly had comments asking whether or not we were poor because we didn't have furniture. We didn't want to use our washing machine, even though we had them. We had bicycles instead of cars. And those bicycles costed us a lot of money, more than any of the cars we've ever owned throughout our journey here. But they were useful to us, and they're useful to us now. We still have them. They're the bikes that you see us riding still. And it's interesting when I look back at that time in my life. Utah has got a very positive anchor for me because I spent a lot of my time focusing on my own personal growth, focusing on my pregnancy, having that amazing experience of birth, and I really owned very little. So I had a lot of extra attention and energy to be able to put into bettering myself and really overcoming some of the long-term fears that I've had in my past. And it really changed who I was. It made me a better person. And because of that, Utah, that experience of Utah will always have that positive thing, anchor and memory for me. When I was young, I worked really hard and I made a lot of money and I spent it all. And when I met Brett, the only assets that I had were my stuff. And so I spent a lot of time on Craigslist, on Amazon, on eBay. Even by the time we found out we were pregnant, we were terribly in debt, probably mostly because of me. And I spent a lot of my time selling all of that stuff. And it was worth selling. It definitely eased the pain of just letting it go. But I think that pain is tied to the time and the energy that we lost. The amount of betterment and positivity and growth that we could have had using that time, that energy, and that money. It was spent on stuff. So I'm not going to say that stuff is bad. There's so many things that are great utility. This particular aircraft, for example, the drone, is very useful for us because we use it for work, but it brings us a lot of joy and pleasure. We really enjoy our craft. It's our passion to take photos and videos, and this particular piece of equipment has been worth our stuff. It makes me so happy to have stuff in my life that add value, that bring us some sort of joy or usefulness, or even stuff that I give away or pass down that I know was well used, that I know the time and energy that I spent to accumulate the money to put into that item just feels right. But I sit here today after over 10 years of being on this minimalist journey, and it just keeps getting more and more refined. But I told you guys in the other video that this is the most maximalist that we've ever been. And this is the second time in my life that I've kind of lived more of a, for me, what I would call an upper level sort of lifestyle. And I don't mean that as in we're just rolling in riches, driving in nice cars, living in mansions, going on airplane jet rides. I mean, it's not like that. But what I mean is it's very excessive in the sense that 90% or more, and I'm just making that number up, but a lot, the majority of what goes on and what the comforts we have and we call them luxuries, but the things that we don't need, the excess, it is a lot right now. So I did it the other way. I went extremely minimalist, despite the fact that I could have afforded a very nice car, despite the fact that we could have bought nice furniture and done up our home. I was pretty happy. And sometimes we have to go on these journeys. It's a cyclical nature, right? Where it's sort of a habit forming and moving into practicing new thoughts, habits, and ideas. So if you find yourself in cycles with diet, exercise, good habits, bad habits, relationships, just anything that you feel like you want to change in your mind, despite the fact that you know it, you find yourself in that cycle again. It's nothing to feel bad over, but it is something to be aware of. And this is something that I'm being made aware of right now. I've worked very, very hard over the last couple years creating this lifestyle for us. We thought, hey, we want to settle down, business is doing well, and let's live a little. There's nothing to feel bad about that. And I'm really happy for the experiences that we've had over the last 6 months, especially. We've moved into a nicer community. We've spent a lot of time spoiling ourselves with beach toys and pool toys and gadgets and gizmos and staging for work, staging for ourselves. And I just have to say that after 6 months, so tired. It only took 6 months of saying, okay, let's let the floodgates open. And I'm already over it. And the reason that I'm stagnant right now, frozen, as I called it, is just because I just feel like packing it all up, giving it all away, and saying, screw it, I'm out. Go back on our bicycles, get a teardrop trailer, cross the country, and have absolutely no obligations and none of this to hold up. So we're the Grateful Gordons, and I know that this sounds like very, very ungrateful of me, and I just wanted to paint this picture of how things can really block your path. And for me, the biggest thing that I regret is the uselessness of it all. For me. And again, what you find useful or what adds value to your life is going to vary beyond us as people. But I have a tendency to buy things in excess, especially when I can. And for me, what excessive is a great example. I bought these oils like a couple years ago, and I still have them, but it's a whole chakra set. And rather than checking them all out and saying, I'll start with one, I'm like, I gotta have the whole set. So I bought this whole set of oils, 7 different oils in 7 different colors. And I just used one yesterday for the first time in probably almost a year. And Brett was like, oh, you smell good. And I'm like, yeah, it's these oils that I've had for ages and I haven't been using. And that is where my guilt comes in. So this is not a sob story. This is not a guilt story. This is not about focusing on the problem. And I know I've spent a lot of time painting that picture, but I wanted to come really clean with you guys, and I wanted to find my own thoughts in talking with you. So thank you for listening. And I also hope that I can add some insight and value here. But I realize that a cycle, no matter what it is that you are doing or try to change, sometimes it's nice to have that other side of the fence. The grass is always going to be greener, no matter where you stand, somewhere else. And I realize now that it doesn't matter if I was living on the road and just free from obligations. Like when we were focusing on raising our kids, all we did all day was literally wake up, go for a long walk, spend time with Love. She was a baby at that time, or a toddler, very young toddler. Going to the park. I was doing yoga and meditation, cleaning, eating, doing laundry, go to sleep, do it again every single day. And occasionally, we'd get out and we'd adventure, check out the lake, ride the public transit, go to this nice little town in downtown Utah. And I remember thinking, this is redundant. We are living meaninglessly, not having a real purpose, no goals, no obligations. And while this is fun, there was a large portion of the way that I felt like something was missing, like it wasn't balanced. And then when we got out here and started working and found some community to hang out with, and we had a sense of purpose, and I thought, this is very balanced. And so I started running with it. And in running with it, got unbalanced again. So this is just the general way that life goes. You move one way only to move back to the other, and hopefully you find yourself moving in less of a range and coming to a more prominent balance for yourself. But this is where I'm at, and I spent a lot of time yesterday going through some stuff, putting some stuff away. If you follow me on Instagram, I showed you guys some of the boxes. We get a lot of products that come in for work, and I've had this tendency of wanting to hold on to every single product. Maybe not every single, but a lot of items that I think are cool. Like I've held on to 2 hydration packs, haven't used one since. Not even on our bike ride to the lava, not even on my trip to Maui. And so it just shows me that I don't really need those items. And those are things that I can let go of and share with people who might need them. And as far as items that I've bought, I want to brief over buyer's remorse. I mean, we talked about that. And I think the remorse really comes from time and money not well spent. So you live and you learn. And you let it go. That's the hardest thing, is to let that go, to feel like it's a waste of time. But why waste more time feeling bad for it? Move forward. Brett told me there's no moving backwards here. So move forward. What's done is done. Move forward. I can choose to sell that stuff. I can choose to give it away. I can choose to hang on to it. But no matter what it is that I decide to do, move forward and feel good about moving forward. That's my lesson today. Really, this talk is for me. So if you're still listening, I appreciate you being here, and I really hope you're getting something out of it. So I've texted some friends and asked them if they wanted to do a garage sale with me. I think it'd be really fun. It's something that I've been wanting to do, and I will openly admit that lately I've been just turning down opportunities because I've rated myself at a certain wage per hour, and if it doesn't meet up to that wage, I've said it's not worth my time. And it's a little embarrassing now thinking about it, but I had this opportunity to shoot real estate, which incrementally, for the time we put in and how much the job was, it's not worth as much as what we normally do for work, but it was an opportunity. And doing things like a garage sale, something I always avoid is opportunity. And I just find it as a space to humble myself, which is something that's been really on my mind over the last month. I think it probably shows up in some of my other social media posts that I just want to stay humble, because I've been in occasions before where abundance and blessings have befallen on me, and I haven't really appreciated that, and I've even been resentful towards some of the blessings. I mean, been resentful here too. And the real truth is that there is good and bad in all things. And the only choice that we have is deciding whether or not we want to see the good or the bad, whether or not we want to feed the other wolf, I guess is what people say. So in this situation, I will try my hardest not to feel bad about letting myself come to this position again. I will take it as a learning experience for my humility to solidify that foundation of humility. And I want to see the good in it. I want to feel more inspired again. I really wanted to run away from this. I wanted to pack it all up and just say, give it the finger, you know. But that's not healthy either. So I think it's about finding that balance for me and learning to imply those habits to just say no. So I wanted to talk about this minimalist cycle. If that's what's happening to you, share with us in the comments below what's going on. You know, it's good to let go of things, but to fall into the cycle of letting go only to let back in and find yourself stressed again it's not really the point of minimalism. So feel free to share your thoughts and opinions on the cycle and what you would do about it or what you do about it. And if you guys have any other thoughts or feelings, I don't know, I just want to open this conversation because it's not been something that I've been conversing about in my life. And yes, I regularly get rid of stuff, but I regularly semi-hoard stuff too. And now I'm surrounded by it. And I'm going to choose to feel really good about that. I feel really blessed and I feel really abundant. It's amazing to be in a position of abundance where there's too much stuff, too much to do, too much to opportunity. And yeah. So thanks for listening to this video. You guys are like my therapy today. And share your thoughts. We on this channel, we talk about family, adventure. I'm like trying to say hi to all the new people there. But if you're new, hi, welcome to the channel. If you don't know what it's about, just browse around and tell me you like this video or you like talking about these type of topics by hitting the like button. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.